Okay, welcome to my Elliott Wave Masterclass Part 2, where it's all about motive waves in with Fibonacci's, right? With Fibonacci retracements, Fibonacci levels, Fibonacci targets. So in the last part, in the past one, if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it before you watch this part. This is very important. There will learn all the rules about motive waves, which motive waves there are, and how to spot them and what the rules are, and basically everything you need to know. In this part, you need to have that knowledge to know how to use it in combination with Fibonacci's. So I assume you already watched that to know how to how to count the motive waves. So let's start now. I will firstly go over the diagonals. We have here on the left the constructing diagonal, on the right the expanding diagonal, and then I will go over the regular impulse. So on the left we have here the constructing diagonal. That's the kind of diagonal we usually want to see, right? Wave 1, wave 3, wave 5. So let's start with wave 2. So how do you measure wave 2? You go from the origin of wave 1, so from the low, you click here, you pull it all the way to the high of wave 1, and you use the fib retracement tool. Okay, fib retracement. That's important. Then I have already my presettings here. I will show them to you. I simply have to look for a wave 2 contracting diagonal. So here you are seeing right now the fib levels. It goes all the way from the 382 all the way down to the 886. And now the colors are important. I'm going to explain you my colors, how I do it for myself. So the orange color represents the fib levels that are uncommon, right? They are not super rare, but they are uncommon. The 382 is uncommon in this case. And the most common area is the red area. So from the 50 to the 786. And the 886 remains and very uncommon, a very rare target. So the wave 2 usually retraces between the 50 to the 786. The 382 isn't a rare uncommon target, and the 886 is very rare. So now you know how to put it for the wave 2. And wave 3 usually is smaller, not smaller, but yeah, shorter than wave 1. It doesn't have to, but it usually is shorter than wave 1. And then with wave 4, we do exactly the same thing. We measure it from the low of wave 3 all the way to the high of wave 3. And now for my wave 4 target for a contracting diagonal, it's literally the most common area is from the 382 to the 618. With a 256 and a 786 being more of uncommon targets, and the 886 being very rare. So I would gladly advise you to make those presettings for you as well, so you already have all of those settings prepared. So it simply goes faster, right? Now for the wave 5, what you simply do for the wave 5, you take your fib extension tool from the low of your wave 3 all the way to the high of your wave 3 and pull it down to the low of your wave 4. And now your wave 5 should not hit the 1-to-1 extension. That's important. It should not hit the 1-to-1 extension. Okay. So we covered the contracting diagonal. Let's go over to the right to the expanding diagonal. Now what is important is the expanding diagonal is not a preferred structure because it is very rare. So I would not actively search for a expanding diagonal, just to make sure. Now the wave 2 in an expanding diagonal is measured again from the low of 1 to the high of 1. And now I have my expanding target, right? Somewhere here I have it. Wave 2 extended wave 1. Here, expanding Diag. So the common targets are pretty much from the 50 to the 886. That's it with the expanding diagonal. And the same goes actually for wave 4. In a wave 4, the most common target is between the 0.5 to the 886. So the that's not such a much things you have to know about the expanding diagonal. Same targets for wave 2 as for wave 4. And now U wave 5, do you measure it again from the low of U wave 3 to the high of U wave 3, all the way down to wave 4, and then you should at least hit the 1-to-1 extension and go all the way up to the 1.618. That is the target for your wave 5. Okay? So that should be clear now to everyone. Now I will simply draw you an impulse right here in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Label it a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now if we go over the regular impulse, I will show you now all of the targets and what you need to do. So U wave 2 here again is measured from the low of wave 1 to the high of wave 1. And now my wave 2 target is simply this one. The minimum target remains the 382, which is still an uncommon target. The most common target is between the 50 and the 618, arguably also the 786, but it's more of an uncommon target. So you wave 2 simply most likely retrace to the 50 to the 618. See, the 886 again is a very rare target and remains very uncommon. So then for your wave 3, you take a fib extension tool from the low of your wave 1 to the high of your wave 1 all the way down to the low of your wave 2, and then voila, you already have it. Your minimum target usually is the 618. So it's pretty much of yeah, it's a nice coincidence that it's actually hitting perfectly the 618. But yes, the one that 618 is pretty much of a minimum target. It doesn't have to. The actual minimum target for the rule is that wave 3 is not allowed to be the shortest wave. So that's it really, but from a Fibonacci target, the 618 is a minimum target. But of course, wave 3 can extend way further to the upside, touching the 2.618, the 3.618, the 4.618 even. So it can go really crazy. Now for the wave 4, you measure it from the low of the wave 3 to the high of the wave 3. And now my wave 4 targets here are these ones where the most common target is between the 236 and the 382. So something more like of this. The 0.5 is an uncommon target, and the 618 in this case is very target / an invalidation. So I would not be looking at a wave 4 if wave 4 comes all the way down to the 618. This is the most common target, 236 to the 382. You all know how to draw it right now from the low of 2 to the high of 3, and that's how you do it. Now, for your wave 5, you have multiple ways. Actually, the best way, I think, is pulling it from the high of 3 to the low of 4, and then this is your most probable target between the 1.236 to the 1.618. This is the area where most likely your wave 5 will end. Now there are also other ways. For example, you pull it from the low of your wave 1 to the high of your wave 1 to the low of your wave 4. And then you have here the 618. And this comes pretty close to the 1.236 from the other wave 5 method. And there's also another one where you take it from the low of your wave 3 to the high of your wave 3 and then target the 618. And then, like you can see, you gather such in a box, and this will be then your target box. So that's how you actually do it and collect target boxes, how I do it. So now another very important thing is not only the fib retracements or extensions, but also fib time. That's what we are going to look at right now. So if we start with the impulse, fib time is this word here, trend-based fib time. So for the wave 2, or basically any corrective structure, it usually ends after the 382 fib time. So how you measure it? You take it from the low of your wave 1 to the high of your wave 1 and you double click. So your wave 2 usually ends after the 382, and just like any character structure. So a wave X, a wave B, a wave 4 usually ends after the 382. That's important. Now your wave 4 usually is longer than wave 2. So what you do is you measure your wave 2, right? And you pull it all the way to the high of your wave 3. So to explain everything again, I will draw it for you again so you can see it how I do it. From the high of 1 to the low of 2, okay, to the high of your wave 3. That's how you do it. Then your minimum target is the 382, but actually what you want to see in the wave 4 is it finishes after the 1-to-1. Because that would mean it is longer in time than wave 2, and this is usually what a wave 4 looks like. Then if the wave 4 touches or ends after the 382 fib time, you can see the fib levels get more and more into the orange and red level. This is where probabilities are very low for a wave 4 when we extend further much to the right side. So usually your wave 4 ends anywhere in this range. And yeah, that's it for the inputs with fib time. So let's take a look at the diagonals again in fib time. So if you look at the diagonals, if you look at the contracting diagonal, it's pretty simple. There's not much thing to do. You take it from the low of 1 to the high of 1 and to the low of your wave 2. And what you want to see is your wave 3 in a contracting diagonal and preferably before the 1-to-1 fib time, because your wave 3 usually is shorter than your wave 1 in a contracting diagonal, right? So here you're looking at the 1-to-1 and you want to end it before the 1-to-1. So same goes for your wave 5. You take it from the low of your wave 3 to the high of your wave 3 to the low of 4, and your wave 5 usually should end before the 1-to-1. So that's important to mention. With the diagonal, in the expanding diagonal, it is simply the other way around. You are looking to end everything after the 1-to-1. So here you want it to end after the 1-to-1, and the same goes for your wave 5. So now we covered everything about Fibonacci's. I hope you understand anything as well. Please do the resets, the presets, so you don't have to do anything manually. Just do the presets like I did, copy them, and everything will be fine. So the next video about the corrected structures is coming probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And with that in mind, bye bye. See you next time.